Going to be a good one. Everton, they cannot presume by any imagination to be safe. They need to win. That's the bottom line. Any other thing apart from winning the game tomorrow is a huge risk.
Hi guys, welcome back to Reggie's Football Show on Transit TV. With my man Ugum, we're back on it again this evening to preview the games for the weekend and also look at a few transfer rumors making the big headlines over the week. Ugum, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Reggie. Thank you, our viewers, for joining us again. It's a pleasure being on the show and being on the channel. Let's enjoy our time together as usual.
Yes. Before we go on this one, I have two things to say. Three things actually. First one, if you have not subscribed yet on our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and share our link for other people to enjoy what we are doing here if you're enjoying it yourself. Secondly, you can see I and Ugum, we are donning the same shirts this evening. This is keeping in line with our promise on this channel to do everything we can to support grassroots programs of this our beautiful game, football. This weekend, there's going to be the All Texas tournament. It's a Nigerian tournament that is hosted annually across the states in the cities in Texas. So this year's one is going to be hosted by Houston. Tomorrow morning from 8:30 at the Collin Park, we'll be having over 10 to 15 games. We'll have 12 teams competing. One of our team, the team I and Ugum play for and also coach and support, will be playing. We are the defending champions. I coached the team last season and we won the championship in Dallas. So this year's one is coming up in Houston and starting up tomorrow for the Memorial Day weekend for tomorrow and Sunday. So if you are in the Houston environs, please make our time to come and see beautiful football from the younger lads tomorrow and Sunday. We'll also try to get you some content from that program. We'll be sharing it in our next program.
And just to let everyone know, the venue is Collin Park. Collin Park is in Katy, close to Baka Cyprus, and the border of Baka Cyprus and Katy. So if you are around, just Google Collin Park, and you'll be able to get the address of the venue of the tournament.
Yes, then again, this is a very, very massive week for Transit TV and most especially for Reggie's Football Show. We are very, very excited and proud of this community, our support we have been getting on this program. Barely 3 weeks into it, we already have over 100 subscribers. Presently, as we speak, we have 107 subscribers and we have amassed almost 1,000 views on our videos. So we ask you to keep up the good work, the support, keep watching our videos. Don't forget to make comments on the videos if you wish to. And also share our link to your friends and whoever you know that likes the sports or you want to understand what is going on around the world of football. Thank you very much. And we are so happy and we're so excited. We're so proud of you, our community. We're so proud of you, our viewers. This shows that you are enjoying what we are doing and we promise to keep improving as we go on this channel. Thank you very much. And we are very, 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 very happy and grateful for the support. So we start with this weekend's fixtures. This is the last weekend for Premiership this season. Already the championship is won. The top four is pretty much decided. Those going to play Europa is decided. The focus is going to be mostly on the relegation teams. We have Everton on 33 points on 17th position. We have Leicester on 31 points. We have Leeds on the 18th position. Leeds 31 points, 19. And of course, we all already know Southampton is relegated at the bottom of the league. So we'll be starting this show today by looking at these three teams, their fixtures for the weekend, and the possibility of either of these three surviving and the other two going down. So we'll start with Everton. Everton looks, for now, they are safe. They only need to get a draw and pray that Leicester loses their game against West Ham and they will stay up. So Everton is going to be playing at home with Bournemouth. How do you see this one, to pan out?
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Everton, they cannot presume by any imagination to be safe. They need to win. That's the bottom line. Any other thing apart from winning the game tomorrow is a huge risk for Everton. Everton, we've gotten used to. Everton seems to be a staple in the EPL. We've gotten used to having Everton there year in, year out. The mid-table team last year, they tried to, you know, get themselves closer to the top four. They've invested a lot of money, though the investment has turned out not to be good. They probably didn't do their research very well. They wasted a lot of money on several players that didn't pan out well. They've tried different coaches and let a few of them go, starting from Carlo Ancelotti to Frank Lampard and all the experiments that they did with coaches and players. So they are at genuine risk of going down. And against Bournemouth, who has been a surprise team, in fact, their manager Gary O'Neill has been touted by many to be a candidate for manager of the year. Understandably so, because this guy is a former player. I think he retired about 2 years or so ago. He's done really well for himself. Came and stayed at Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a team that you cannot underestimate because on a given day they can beat you. You know, we've seen that happen already this season. If Everton are not careful, especially with the nerves of the final day, there's a chance that Bournemouth can get a result against them, and that will mean most likely they might get relegated. So I'm calling this slightly in advantageous to Everton just because of their experience and the players, superior players that they have. If they play with the drive that they played with the last 2 3 games, they should be able to beat Bournemouth. But I do not think it's a certainty at all that they will do that.
Yeah, for me, like you rightly said, Everton, first of all, they're playing at home on this one against Bournemouth. Bournemouth is completely safe on the division. So, like I spoke on our last videos, sometimes motivation and mentality or mindset going to a game sometimes plays a very big role. You know, and before I go on, I remember as a I used to say things change quickly in football. Who could have believed that Everton would go from competing to make Europe? Actually, I think they were Europe in a few seasons ago, and now they're talking about relegation, and this is like really staring them in the face. You know, I
Yes.
think Everton to go through in this one. One, because, like you said, their experience, what Sondage has done since he joined Everton, the spirit they play with, the urgency and the way they approach the games. I believe, and knowing that they could still go down, that could probably, spur them more. On the other side, the Bournemouth, they are safe on the division. They win or lose, they are good to go. And they are a team, even before Gary joined them, they're a team that are known for playing football, for putting the ball on the pitch. They try to play football. And presently, Sundice and Everton have proved to be a very difficult nut to crack for teams that play that way. So looking at that, I believe Everton should be able to get something out of this one and stay up in the division. Because and Leicester, we can say it can have a kind of emotion for them. They won the title 5-6 seasons ago, and now they're talking about relegation. You wanted to stay up, but looking at it all season, I don't think they've done much to survive, staying up from Ben Rogers before he left, and what we have in that team now. So I think Everton to win Bournemouth and stay up in the division. Then we look at Leicester. Leicester is going to be playing at home against West Ham. So what's your take on that one?
Another tricky one. Actually, I think is a more difficult test, of course, for Leicester. We know West Ham. West Ham is the David Moyes coach team, full of solid players, solid, credible, EPL stars, level players that have been there and that they are in the final of a European competition. And so it's not a side that you take for granted. On a given day, they can beat you up. but they've struggled this season on the local scene, and there's a chance that they may struggle against Leicester. I watched Leicester. Leicester City are actually a very decent side. We know that they have good players, and just like you rightly said, James Madison, for example, when he was interviewed a few weeks back, said that they are not relegation candidates. He's felt that they are good, that they don't have any issues. They felt that they were going to be safe because they had all the players they needed to survive. But here you go, one game to go. There's a big chance that they may get relegated. So I think it started dawning on the players a few weeks ago that it's actually a dogfight, and I see their body language has changed. They now know that they are fighting for their lives. So let's see what they do against West Ham. I think that they are capable. Ndidi Iheanacho is back. Iheanacho is a good goal scorer, and I saw that their last game they played both Iheanacho and Vardy together in the first half. Then they switched to Daka and Vardy in the second half. So they have options. They can score goals. They can keep the ball actually on the floor with Tielemans, and the right back from Belgium, Castagna, plays really well. And so they have the tools to just try and be patient and try and beat West Ham. I hope they are able to do that. But again, just like Everton, there's a big chance it could go the other way.
Yes, I completely agree with you on this one. The only thing I will have to add is that Leicester concede goals. They've been conceding goals also.
Yes. Yes.
So it's going to be very difficult for them to overcome West Ham. West Ham is on a high. The only thing I can think of that probably work in favor of Leicester is that they're going to West Ham being in the final for an European competition might want to rest players.
Yeah.
And the ones playing might probably play safe, and no one will get injured and get ready for the finals. We've seen this happen a lot of times in football. So that's the only hope I have for Leicester. But as regards scoring goals, they cannot defend. They can't just defend all season. It's been I know Everton has considered goals, but probably considered goals in large numbers in few games. But Leicester just can't keep clean sheets. Looking at that with what West Ham have been doing the last few weeks, obviously you can count on West Ham scoring goals in this match. It's a matter of Leicester scoring them. But for Leicester to play out this game without conceding a goal, I don't see that happening in this game. So I kind of agree with you earlier on saying Everton probably looks more likely to stay up between the two. But interestingly, we have Leeds on the same point with Leicester. I don't even know why we're focusing on Leicester. They are the same 31 points with Leicester, and they're playing against Spurs. Spurs, and they're playing at home as well. They've been very strong at home this season. Spurs, we know, are Spurs. And they have been doing Spurs things in the last few weeks. So there's every possibility that Leeds can as well win Spurs and make things happen. So I don't know what do you think about that one? Let's look at Spurs.
You're totally on point. You're totally on point. Sam Allardyce as a coach is not my cup of tea. So they are my least favorites. But like you said, right, they are on 31 points with Leicester City. And if they're on 31 points, every chance that Leicester has, they have. Right. So that's the issue. Leeds United are seed fight, really. The last couple of games I've seen, they've been fighting. He's brought back Gnonto, the little Italian guy, into the side, and he's injected a lot of pace. Now they play with purpose. They are organized. And against Tottenham, your guess is as good as mine. What Tottenham will do. So if you really look at it, that may even be the easier game for Leeds to win than either of Everton and Leicester.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on that one. I really do agree. Before we move to, let's look at a few other teams. Chelsea has a possibility of ending their season on the 5th, being 15th on the table. If not for the game they won last week, I think. Chelsea we've been talking about relegation as well for Chelsea if they don't win tomorrow. I know we're going to have season roundup in 2 weeks coming, looking at the different teams in depthly with different fans. What do you think? What do you think is going on in Chelsea?
Honestly, in my years of watching football, and there have been many years, I haven't seen this kind of thing before. I watched Chelsea against Manchester United yesterday, and I could not understand. Clearly, you can see a group of guys that know how to play the game. These guys are all expensive buys, top-rated players. Noni Madueke, um, Enzo Fernandez, for goodness sake, that they bought with almost 100 million euro. And then you're talking about the likes of Felix, likes of Modric. I saw the chance that was created for Modric by their left back, Lewis Hall, the young boy, in the first 2-3 minutes of the game. All Modric needed to do was just touch the ball, just tap the ball. And I could not believe it. I mean, Manchester United ended up winning that game 4-1. And it was, for me, the scoreline did not reflect the game, not in any way. Because Chelsea just contrived to miss all their chances. Great build-up play. Madueke, Havertz, they square the ball. Whoever is supposed to score the goal scores his line or plays it over the bar or hits the bar. So there's Chelsea. I honestly do not know. Somebody made a statement today. I overheard on YouTube that he attributed the quote to Wenger, to Arsene Wenger. He said Arsene Wenger said, sometimes you improve a team by removing from it rather than adding to it. That's what Chelsea, I think, needs to do first. You improve a team by removing, right? I don't know what Pochettino's plan is. That team, there's just something wrong. Motivation is a problem. Organization is a problem. Taking responsibility is a problem. Having their players, maybe they are not secure in their being a part of the team. Well, maybe they don't have a sense of belonging. Maybe there's just something somewhere in the minds of Chelsea players that's making them underperform to alarming levels. Imagine being in the conversation for relegation. It's crazy. I don't know your take on it. I don't understand what's going on in that club and how they're going to fix it.
Yeah, looking at it, like you rightly said, you can improve a team by removing from instead of adding. I think one of the problems Chelsea have had is from the top, they've not had direction. And this in the modern football, you have a football director, you have a coach. As a club, you decided a philosophy or the way you want to play football. Then you start to look for players that fit that the way you want to play. Coach come, coach go. If any coach leaves the club, you want to hire another coach, you have to hire a coach that's going to also continue in that
with your philosophy.
But what Chelsea have done in the last 2 transfer windows that we can see, Chelsea don't play the same way, don't have the same philosophy as Arsenal. Arsenal goes for a player, Chelsea goes to buy that player. So if that player is suited for Arsenal philosophy, there's no way he's going to perform in Chelsea's philosophy. Man United goes for a player, Chelsea hears it, they go buy that player. Man U doesn't play the same way Chelsea play, not that they play the same way Arsenal plays. So which means if you buy a Man U player, a player that is suited to Man U philosophy, he's going to struggle to fit into what Chelsea is doing. So they've ended up assembling players who will thrive in different philosophy. And they put them together in one team. Then to make it worse, these players have also played under 3 different coaches in one season. 3 different coaches that all have different philosophy to the game. So at the end of the day, there's confusion in their head. Like you rightly said, players have lost confidence. These coaches have not continued to use the same players and not use some. Each coach has preferred to use certain players each time they come in. So at the end of the day, it's chaotic. So there really needs to be, and I know we're going to go into transfers. I don't even understand how Chelsea, I know they still need players, but I don't understand how Chelsea at this point are still being linked to players.
Yeah.
They're still going hard on signing players. I don't know who's making these decisions for them. For me, the priority, first of all, is going to be to
trim their squad down.
Get a manager. You have gotten Pochettino, fine. Is he going to? And I hear he's requested to have a director of football. If that's true, that's the next big step, because what that does is give him clarity and somebody to work in harmony with in terms of renewing players' contracts, signing new ones, and signing those who are going to go. And one of the reasons why it's even more difficult for Chelsea is it's not going to make these decisions only based on player ability on the pitch. There is also contract issues that have to be considered. Because there are some players you might want to let go, but the contract they have will make it easy for you. We have seen players that club want to sell, but the clubs that are coming for them, the player doesn't want to go there. So it's a very, very uphill task right there in Chelsea. I know we'll look at it in depth at the end of the season, but I believe, thank goodness, I know I'm not supposed to be saying this as an Arsenal fan, but thank goodness we didn't lose Chelsea this season, because it would have been a very big blow to English football. Thank goodness we didn't lose them. They're going to stay in the division. But I don't see them come out of this one easily and quickly. The Chelsea fans, I'm sorry to say this, I know you're going to come after me. You guys can't wait for the season to end, hoping that believing that next season is going to be just like that. I don't see it happening that way, but there's so much to be done with that team. Before you know it, the summer is over, new season is here. You still have 8 players to deal with, and unfortunately you still actually need to sign some new players. So are they going to go the direction of their academy to fill those spots that need to be filled, or go sign more players? I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll watch and see how that one pans out.
But I think that just adding something to it, if they would have to decide, since they have the money to do pretty much anything they want, they will have to decide to let go quite a few of their assets and not expect to get much for them. That's what Arsenal has done, and that's the only way Arsenal were able to, get rid of quite a few players. This guy is being sought after. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is being sought after by AC Milan. They have a few other players that they have to let go, either at very cheap prices or maybe just tear up their contracts and have them move on, and so that they can actually have a more settled squad that they can work with over the summer for Pochettino. Yeah. I think that's one key thing that they need to do.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There's another game I wanted to look at before we move to the transfers. Aston Villa against Brighton. I know Brighton has seen their position to play in Europe next season, but these two teams are very, very close in terms of strength and what they have done in the league this season. Aston Villa is playing at home. I tip them to win this one, and the only reason why I say that is because Brighton have had a kind of bipolar performance in the last few weeks. They go from losing 4-1 to Everton and coming to win Arsenal, they made 3-0, but the next week they are drawing, So it's been a little bit up and down, but somehow they've made it to Europe. I don't know. How do you think this one is going to pan out? For me, I will root for Aston Villa in this game. Well, I don't know what you think, briefly.
You're right. I would have easily called it for Brighton because Brighton are playing such delightful football. But what you said is true. They've been quite inconsistent in terms of the results they are getting. One thing I've seen with that Brighton team is that for all their attacking flair and their total football and the stuff they do, they still concede quite goals. If you resist their press, you can easily get goals against them, right? Because their keeper is always looking to play, looking to be the last man, looking to be the libero. And so they take on undue and unnecessary risks that would lead to them conceding. But the main thing would be how you approach them. If you approach them man for man, they can cut you to pieces like they did to Manchester City. But if you are conservative in your approach to them, deny them a bit of the space, you have a really good chance. So yeah, I agree with you. There's a chance. Aston Villa with Unai Emery's brain and the way he prepares for games, have a good chance of beating Brighton.
So we'll move to the big transfer talks for the week. Like I mentioned earlier on, we have Ugarte being touted by the rumors have it that PSG and Chelsea have all agreed to pay the release clause, only that they're negotiating different payment structure with Lisbon. First of all, like I said earlier, I don't understand how Chelsea is still in the market big time for players at this time of the season and going to the summer, because I feel they should concentrate more on trimming their squad and making themselves attractive for any player to come, and or making themselves be in a strong position to negotiate for players when they go for signing. Because right now, anybody you're going to has all the odds are against you in getting a player. A player is going to demand an arm and leg to even come to Chelsea at this moment. PSG, from what we hear, are very, 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 serious about this one and willing to also meet the release clause. I don't know. What do you think about this rumor?
Yeah, you said it well. I mean, Ogate is a good player, very good player. Like I was telling you earlier, I noticed him against when Arsenal played against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa. Tireless midfielder, hardworking midfielder, knows how to close down space, knows how to tackle, quite reckless. Why are Chelsea buying? Well, I don't know what they're going to do with Kovacic and all these players that they have in the middle. It looks like if he comes in, means that the likes of Kovacic are definitely leaving. They want to hold on to what's his name? The small man, the small superstar at Chelsea, Kante. Yeah, they want to hold on to Kante. So probably bringing in this guy means they'll get rid of two midfielders. I don't know how they're going to do it and why they want to do it. But yeah, maybe it's someone that Pochettino likes and wants in his time.
Yeah, I saw something on the internet that says Kovacic is one of the players that are trying to let go. So probably that's why they're doing that. But I think they should, first of all, let players go before they go for bringing in new ones. Though I understand that if you're too late as well, you might miss out on the good deals before you're ready. So I don't know how they plan to, their strategy to do this one this summer. A very, very surprising and shocking one, looking at the talent in there and what this player has done in the past few seasons in Real Madrid. The rumor had it today that broke today that Ascencio is going to leave Real Madrid on free transfer. He's not able to agree any contract with Real Madrid for going forward, and the contract runs out by next month. So there's strong indications. In fact, Real Madrid are actually waiting for his announcement that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. So he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. And presently, he's being linked to Man U and PSG. Not linked because these two teams, not quite long ago, we are inquiring about him at Real Madrid. And the guy, he made up his mind to stay in Real Madrid. So it's believed that Man U and PSG are going to come back to try to sign him this time. Mendes has who is his agent, has a very good relationship with PSG. So most likely, PSG might have upper hand in this one if they go back for Ascencio. What's your take on? I'm a little bit surprised on this one, but I mean, in football, anything can happen.
I saw this coming. Asensio, I believe, should be in his mid-20s now, or somewhere about 27 or thereabout. I'm not sure. But I think this is time for Asensio to become a key member of a team. He's not a key member of Real Madrid, and his talent demands that he becomes a key member. I saw this coming because for all the important games that Madrid played lately, you couldn't see Asensio anywhere except coming in towards the second half to try and redeem games or try and score goals. And many times he delivered, but starting was a problem. And if the guy at that level of talent, believing in himself, is always having to sit on the bench, at a point he would decide to go. I think this shows me that really this guy wants to develop his potential, actualize his potential in the game, right? I thought he was one of these, very laid back, or let me just do this because I'm Madrid, and he would do that for the rest of his career. But him saying, listen, I demand a team, I want to play for the first team, and I think I've earned it. Maybe go to another smaller team, lesser known team, and drive the team forward. That will show, his actual potential. So I saw this coming. I hope it happens. and let's see where he goes. I doubt whether he will go to the likes of United, and the likes of PSG, but let's see what happens because he cannot go to a place where he will sit on the bench again, just like he's been sitting at Real Madrid.
Yeah, at the end of the transfer window last season, there was some rumor that Arsenal was inquiring about him. I'm surprised that nothing has been said about him and Arsenal this time, considering the fact that Xhaka is been, rumored to be leaving us at the end of the season. So I don't really know if I want him at Arsenal. But like you rightly said, he's a very, 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 very good talent. But one thing is talent, another thing is attitude. So we don't know what he looks like,
exactly on the training pitch.
Behind the scenes. Yes. So we'll watch and see how this one is going to pan out. The next player we're going to look at is Mason Mount. 50 million to Man U. I hear 52 million to Man U. I hear he's almost done.
I'm not sure about being almost done because Liverpool are after him. Arsenal are interested. I hear he is leaning towards Manchester United. So Mason Mount, we know, is a dependable player, works really hard. That's what we know him for. I listened to a fan forum today where the argument was a Chelsea fan was saying, tell me what Mason Mount is really good at. Tell me what he's known for. Apart from he works hard, what exactly is he good at? And that was the argument. He said that I don't see why everyone is rating this guy so highly because he's not particularly good at anything. He's a player that I've seen makes an impact on the pitch. Now I cannot say what he's exceptional apart from the fact that he works hard and he's there. He doesn't score. You wouldn't say he's a dependable goal scorer, or you wouldn't say he's a dependable midfield a passer. You wouldn't say he's a dependable dribbler, but you can say he works hard. And so now it probably needs to get into a coach that will take him to the next level, mold him, and make him a specialist at something, and that will now make him shine. But because obviously with Klopp after you, Arteta after you, Ten Hag after you, and other coaches like that, Southgate playing him all the time, means there's something there to work with.
Yeah, and
I think we have about 2 minutes.
Yeah, the surprise one is that he has just 1 year left in his contract, and Chelsea is about to get 50 million for this guy. And that's one thing over the years I've known Chelsea for. They just somehow manage to give value or get money for their players. I don't know how a Mason Mount that we're talking about, we're not sure what his specialty is. Having just 1 year left in his contract, and Chelsea is about to receive 50 million for him. There's no need to ask you that question, whether who's getting the better deal. Is it the person buying or the person selling? I think Chelsea is getting a very, very massively good deal if they get up to 50 million from Mason Mount, because that is for me, it's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy.
Right.
Yes, the next player on the list is Davis in Bayern Munich. He's also in a contract talk with Bayern Munich. I think he has 1 season left to go, or end of this season should be a free agent. So he's in a conversation with Bayern Munich as well to extend his contract. The understanding is that Bayern Munich wants him to be part of their future programs. One of the phases they want to carry on in their next phase of their project, and they want him to stay. But Davis and his camp want to understand the direction the club is going, especially the area of knowing who is going to be the next football director in the club. There has been some panic. I understand there's going to be a meeting to that effect this weekend. So he's installing signing the new contract, staying, or deciding what to do until that meeting is held, and who emerges in that position will determine what him and his camp will do. What do you think about this? And is there in any way you think probably he will leave Bayern? And if he does, where do you think he will end up?
Historically, players hardly leave Bayern Munich until Bayern are willing to let them go. I haven't seen, hardly do you see Bayern Munich, especially as a club, they have a way of holding on to their players. Having said that, I think their management is full of divas and old boys club, and they make life very uncomfortable for coaches if you don't blend with them. And so I can see why a player will be worried, or a player's camp will be worried about Bayern Munich and their hierarchy. So Davis is a player, of course, everybody rates. Supreme athlete, excellent player. Can play multiple positions, can play midfield, can play outside right, can play left back, can play center back. And so he's very adaptable, uh, very good at set pieces, has a great height, to be very useful to the team. So I don't think Bayern are going to let him go. That guy is extremely important. But if that happens, I would see a team probably like PSG. I know Real Madrid is being mentioned, but Real already has David Alaba. I don't know how many of this, whether you can get Bellingham and get Davis at the same time, at the same summer. I doubt it. I don't think they have the finances, or I don't think the rules or the law will allow them, with everything happening in Spanish football, to buy two superstar players at that level within one summer. So I would say the likes of PSG, probably the likes of United have the financial capability, definitely, and that kind of player can, check many boxes for them. He can check the box of Luke Shaw playing left back. He can also double up as a center back that they need, really. But leaving the likes of Bayern Munich to come to United, I'm not sure whether he will want to make that kind of move. So my hunch says he will stay.
Yes, I agree with you completely on that one. But, we're not just hearing the player is saying. When you start to hear that the agent, the camp,
yes,
you have to be worried, because these agents now have been made very powerful in this game. That when a player is having potential issue with his club and the agent is involved, but everybody you have to sit up, because these guys have a way of turning the head of players elsewhere. And we have seen so many shocking transfers being completed in this business. So I wouldn't be surprised for them to say that they want to see who emerges in that position, which means there's somebody is going to be, they might not do business. So what if that person emerges the director of football and it doesn't work out? That means he's going to look elsewhere. And like you rightly said, Real Madrid probably might be out of it. Barcelona, I don't think are looking out for him. He's going to be left with Man U. Are you looking for players? Chelsea is in the market. PSG is in the market. Probably Arsenal as well, but Arsenal would know how to do business. So they don't really go for players when there is a bidding war. So it might end up, the agent might end up using it as a windfall.
But I think that I group Davis in the same group with Kimmich, Joshua Kimmich. I take them as cornerstones. That instead of Bayern appointing a football director that will make those guys leave, they would rather those guys stay and they will appoint a different football director, right? I don't think that Bayern is going to make that kind of mistake of letting Kimmich or Davis go.
I agree with you.
That's just my hunch.
I agree with you, but now that you mentioned, that Kimmich too is another player that there is rumor that he might leave Bayern. So
that will not happen.
So I understand what you're saying, but in this business, like I keep saying, okay, out of nowhere this summer, we are hearing what's his name? Neymar is leaving PSG and probably end up in Man U. This is not rumor. These are strong out there. Who could have dreamt that 2 months ago or 3 months ago? Yeah, we know Neymar has his issues, but who could have thought that talking about Neymar leaving PSG to go to Man U? So like I said, the agents these days, these guys have so much power, and they can do and undo. You can't really say never anymore in the game as long as money is concerned. And Bayern is a big club, and they also don't like to get bullied by players. You will agree with me. When the player starts to look like they're calling the shots, Bayern doesn't waste time letting you go as well. So no matter how big you are. So That one could go
But you
in.
can see that these two players are not that level, are not that level. They're not predisposed to bullying the team or disrespecting the team. You can see that Kimmich is not saying anything. He has all the utmost respect. The same thing with Davies.
No,
You know,
if they have offered you a contract, if they have offered you a contract and it's okay by you, it's not talking about what they offered him is not what he wants. It's not. They're not talking about number of years. He's saying he wants to see the direction the club is going, which means he's trying to say this is the way I want it, or if not, I'm leaving. If they are having bottleneck on salaries, I can understand that. Okay, there's a negotiation going on. There are any issues on number of years being offered to him. Is that those are issues that, but for a player and his kind to be saying, we want to see the direction the club is going. That means there is something that is important to them that the club might not do, and this is no longer being a personal contract. Contract. So if, like you said earlier on, Bayern are going to base the appointment on who these players want, that means they're bullying the club. And I don't think Bayern at their stature will allow a couple of players decide who manages the team, because there are also other things that lead to these emergencies, because some of these directors too probably will have some very strong business or sponsorship deals that they bring to the club. So if a director can have the ability to bring some big investment to the club or business or sponsorship, or even other player that can attract to the club, sometimes you look at the bigger picture and let go the smaller one. So, well, I agree with you, but my point is, you can never say never.
You never know.
Yeah, anything can happen as long as there is this strong rumor that the guy is stalling signing a contract because of this. That means it's important to him, and if it was that easy for Bayern, they would have made him that promise. So it could go either way. We'll see how that one goes. The next one is an obvious one. Bellingham to Real Madrid. The news has it out there that it's almost done. And there's no doubt the quality of the young man, what he has done with England and in Dortmund the past few seasons, been immense. Everybody thought that he was going to end up in Liverpool, but now we're hearing Real Madrid. Oh, presently, there's also strong news that Ancelotti is going to stay in Real Madrid. Before, I was thinking that this season, having not won any trophy this season. Okay, they won the Copa del Rey, no major trophy this season, and by Real Madrid that we know, either you're winning the league or winning the Champions League, or you have failed. Somehow, Don Carlo, as they call him, the Don in Real Madrid, has managed to survive this one, even after losing out to Real Madrid and Man City on the league and Champions League. They're still going to keep him. And somehow he has continued to play the old guards, Modric, Kroos, Benzema. And as a matter of fact, Real Madrid just offered them new contract. They've all signed a contract to stay in the club. Do you think, because of these two guys, youngsters like Tchouaméni, I think I have been moved to the left back position, bringing Jude Bellingham, I know it's coming out at a very high price. Don't you think that there's obviously going to be a conflict there, because it looks like Ancelotti is sold on this old guy that he has in the team?
There's going to be a conflict there, quite all right, but I think they're going to manage it well. I think that Modric, being the experienced man he is, would handle it well. He will be a mentor. He will come in and fill in gaps. They probably keep him for the most important games and have the younger guys play most of the time, and have them watch him in training, watch how he lives his life, how he takes care of his health and his body, and they will learn from him, and they will continue to develop. The person I'm a little concerned about is Kroos. Kroos is a hothead. Without making noise, he doesn't say much. But when he speaks to the press most times, he says very controversial stuff. And you know he's someone that if he's not happy, he can mess up the whole the dressing room. That's the person that I'm a bit concerned about as for managing him with the but he also knows he's getting on in age. And I'm concerned about Kroos. Kroos may cause problems if Bellingham comes in and plays most of the games and Kroos doesn't get to play. Modric, I know, has a seasoned veteran, captain of Croatia. knows how to do his thing. So it's up to Ancelotti to give these younger guys a bigger chance. Chomeni really didn't play nearly enough this season. He needs to. The young man captained France to the final. Not captain, like drove France forward to the final of the World Cup. He's an excellent player and needs to get more opportunities. So, but there's no way they will buy Bellingham and sit him on the bench for most of the games. No, Bellingham is such a big player already, and I'm sure he's coming there with assurances that he will be in the first team playing all the time. Otherwise, he's not going to go there. The young man seems focused on his career and knows what he wants. And so he's not going to go to a club where he will sit on the bench for most of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I know he's going to have game time in Real Madrid for sure. But playing week in, week out, I don't know. And Real Madrid is a club, just like you said about Bayern Munich, is a club that no star is bigger than the club. If they could get rid of Ronaldo when they did, I don't think anybody can come and say, I must play. So as I left Chelsea as the main man and got to Real Madrid, we know the story today. To be honest, I know people are going to say, yeah, because they're an Arsenal fan. If I were Jude Bellingham, I would go to Real Madrid this year. I think the young man is 19 or 20 in the midfield. Midfield is a highly. You look at Chomeni. I know people will say Chomeni is not the standard of Jude Bellingham. I don't see much difference between the both of them.
Are you kidding me? Who says that?
Exactly. So
they are equal as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. So if Chomeni can sit out almost the whole season on the bench, then what makes you feel that?
The profiles are different.
I will have the same problem.
They are alike
I know there are different profiles, but there are also players. You don't forget that you have Rodrigo in the team as well. You have Reved. So there are also capable young players who are already in the team, who also can compete for those positions.
Again, profiles. A lot of this is aesthetics. A lot of this is political, so to speak. Your profile says a lot. How you come into a club also says a lot, especially those kind of clubs. Bellingham is coming in highly coveted. Real Madrid were very fast with Chomeni. Once he showed his face and his ability, they were really fast. They went in before other clubs could see what was going on and bought Chomeni. And it was after they bought Chomeni that Chomeni now started starting for France, right? And people now saw his talent. Bellingham, everybody has seen his talent already. They've seen he's about to drive Dortmund to it. If he wins the Bundesliga with Dortmund, you know what that means? You cannot buy that profile and keep him on the bench. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it's good. Of course, yes, it's going to be good. But what I mean is, there's a possibility that it's going to go there. Obviously, get good game time, but not like is an assured week in, week out player. Why do I say that? Like you said, I understand the profile you're talking about, but there's also the players that have been there and have been there, depending on the attitude of this other player. Like I said, Rodrigo has helped Real Madrid in big games as well.
I get your point, but I'm telling you, for me, I do not think that Bellingham will sign any paper for Real Madrid without the assurance of first team regular play.
They will tell you in football that nobody gives you those assurances. That will be discussed, obviously. But nobody was going to give you 100% guarantee that you're going to play week in, week out, because at the end of the day, it boils down to your attitude. Like I said earlier on, I don't think that the profile Bellingham is coming to Real Madrid with is anywhere near what Hazard came to Real Madrid with. I don't think it's anywhere close. But look at Hazard today, because of the team he came into. Because he's going to come in and show what you have. And like I said, if he was coming in and you have Cruz and Modri and Camavinga, I can understand. Chomeni is on the side. You have Valverde, you have Rodrigo. And you only need 3 of these players or 4 players in each game. So my point is, it's going to probably be a shared play time. That's what I'm trying to say. He's going to play, of course, he's going to play games. I'm not saying they're going to bench him for these people. But it's going to be, if Real Madrid are trying to transit to the new field, because obviously there's going to be transition in that team this season, because like you rightly said earlier on, Cruz, Benzema, and Modric are really going to drop in their playing time. So which means these young players are going to start to have opportunities. And already, even in the young set, they have excess of talent in that position. So obviously, there's going to be fierce battle to get playing time. And all these boys are all hardworking and good players. So obviously, it's going to be interesting. Let's say we're going to watch out and see how that one pans out. Then we'll move to a very, very ugly, sad, and bad one. We cannot end this show without talking about it. Vinicius Junior.
Yes.
What happened to him over the week? I mean, this racism, there's been so much talk, banners, symbols, loud talk, seminars, all kinds of stuff done about it, but he always seems to rear his ugly head every now and then. Do you think the authorities have done enough or are doing enough?
I think the FA, the head of the football in Spain, needs to be fired. With his comments to Vinicius, dismissing what Vinicius was raising and talking about, and criticizing Vinicius on Twitter, belittling him, I think he needs to be fired. And I think that, again, in Europe, from the EPL to the Spanish La Liga to UEFA, they are not serious yet about covering racism. I haven't seen any seriousness. I haven't seen any serious action to show that they really want to eradicate racism. Bottom line is that it means that some people at the top of affairs are racist and they're supporting it, right? Because if they are not, we should see some measures. We should see bans.
Like what?
We should see bans of stadiums. We should see bans from clubs. We should see clubs being docked upwards of 15 to 20 points for racism. That way, supporters will sit up. If your club is vying for a Champions League and they get docked 10 points for you making animal noises at the player, okay, that hits hard.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry, go ahead.
And then we see prosecutions of fans being caught doing this thing, being actually prosecuted and being banned from coming to the stadium to watch games. Then they are serious. Fines are nothing. They find a way to raise money and pay the fine, and they keep doing what they are doing, right? And so until people are hit where it hurts them the most, it will keep happening.
It's a very difficult one. I think people have been prosecuted for rape recently. Like you said, the most effective one would have been to the dock points. But if somebody is not a registered fan of a club and is caught in racist act, what's the guarantee that he's actually a fan of that club? He might end up punishing a club wrongly. Let me give you, somebody can hide under the guise of another club fan and go cause that kind of problem, and the club loses. Like anybody can buy, for instance, Arsenal jersey, buy Arsenal ticket and go to the stadium and chat.
Now, before you buy a club, you will be a section of fans. It's not going to be one fan. If it's one fan, one person doing that, right? People around the person, if they are opposed to that, will shut the person down. You will not hear one fan.
We have seen where one or two people did it and they are arrested. For section, I understand what you're saying. For section,
yes.
There's a lot going to be that needs to be done to
so when you
get to the root of it.
Yeah. My point is, when you catch that kind of person, you make that kind of person suffer for it. Prosecute the person, ban the person from coming to that stadium, right? If you ban the person from coming to that stadium, that's one less person to worry about in that stadium. And if the person goes to another stadium and does it, if you identify this person already has a record of doing this, right? Then the person gets punished for it. And so that's one thing. But when a cross-section of, we can talk about with Valencia, I've been to Valencia, these guys, a whole section of the stadium, they were making these noises. It was clear for everyone to hear. It's not deniable. So you come down hard on the club for that.
Yeah,
And
in that case, I'm with you on that one. When a stadium is known for that, when a set of fans are known for that, then there has to be some serious punishment for the club and for the fans for it. Another difficult one to have is, these players go around demanding arm and leg to get signed up to clubs. Some of these things, fans through TV right, and all these things are also linked to the money that are being used to pay these players as well. So maybe looking from the management perspective, probably that's one of the reasons why it's also difficult for them sometimes to do certain things, because the clubs, the management, the people that run this game, they also need this monies to foot the bills. So it turns, all these things are linked. I'm not trying to excuse in any way this ugly incident, but what I'm trying to highlight here is how difficult it is to handle as well. It's very easy and okay for us to call on the management or people that who run the game to do something serious, but we also understand the fact that sometimes their hands are tied, because some of these things are also linked.
No, under no circumstances their hands tied. Please.
No, what I mean is,
please don't say their hands are tied. Look at Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney has been found to.
Yeah.
He's just been banned for how long, right? Yeah. No, you haven't seen this kind of thing happen for anything racism related, right? If it's racism, they will ban the person. If they find probably 1 or 2 games, fine the person thousands of dollars, and that's it, right? No serious punishment has been meted out for racism.
No, I've seen recently where they banned a player from a fan from a stadium completely. I've seen where it happened. No, something needs to be done. Of course, it's a very, very serious issue that needs to be addressed, and it has to be an effective way. There has to be a way, like you mentioned, Valencia, for a stadium like that is notorious for racism chants and stuff like this. I don't think that if you ban the stadium or ban that section of obviously most of these stadiums, a particular set of fans stay in a particular section of the stadium. So if you know where that noise is coming from, like you rightly said, if they are serious about it, the club by now should have identified those that do that at every home games and take an action about it. I'm with you on it. I'm just trying to open it up to see, probably think for them and find out what is going, why sometimes it's
well, I think we shouldn't, let me not say we shouldn't, but we just cannot find any kind of loophole. Yes. Because these are the loopholes they've been exploiting for years, right? It's time for these guys to actually make decisions that will hit them. Yes, it may reduce the small, a few of the huge amounts of money that they get, but you have to treat human beings as human beings.
Exactly.
And stop this stuff, right?
Yes, it's now that you mentioned it, Avantoni, we almost skip that one. When I read the report on how deep this guy is immersed into this mess, honestly, I was short of words to comment on it. And if you ask me, I don't think his ban is enough.
Yeah, more so. Whoever is going to sign that guy, please. First of all, as an Arsenal fan, I don't want him near Arsenal.
No, we're talking about him before his politics.
Yes, yes.
Arsenal,
No.
Today,
I don't want him near Arsenal. Anybody that's assigning, they need to make sure that he has therapy and he recovers, because he's addicted, right? He's suffering from addiction.
Yeah, when I was reading the report, I saw some of his pictures, and I took a deep breath and looked at him very well. If you watch that guy, he looks like someone like the way he stands and stares at stuff. Looks like someone that his mind is elsewhere.
Yeah, elsewhere. I agree.
Probably this guy is really needs some help. He really, he needs some help. Obviously, this has I don't even see him coming back from this. If I were him, I will retire from football. And like you said, get therapy, get myself cleaned out,
Yeah.
and probably look for a different career.
I think that's what he needs to concentrate on doing while he's banned and
Yeah.
nothing else, because yeah, he has issues. He's obviously talented, and from the way he talks, he feels entitled, and he probably needs someone that will really counsel him, get him to calm down if he wants to salvage his career. Um, because he still has time. He's still very young. He's still so talented. And so if he allows himself begin to feel any other way apart from remorseful, apart from humbled, apart from repentant, and trying to find a way to cure the addiction that he's facing, then he's going to be in a bigger mess whenever he recovers and finishes his ban.
Predictions for the weekend. Aston Villa, Arsenal are home to Wolves for the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal, man, it's just been a mess. Arsenal badly need to beat Wolves. They need to end the season, add some optimism and some positivity to the end of the season, and at least highlight the good thing that they've done so far. So I'll predict an Arsenal win.
Yeah, I'll predict Arsenal to win this one. I also predict that they're going to concede goals, as we have seen lately at the Emirates. But Arsenal has a history of winning their last home games of the season. And this is actually the last game of the season, and it's at home at the Emirates. Saka just signed a new contract this week. There is obviously some excitement in the club. I hear they're making progress on Reece Nelson as well, signing a new contract. They've offered him 4 years. So I see some rejuvenation in the camp. I also believe Arsenal will win this one, and they will score multiple goals. Aston Villa are home to Brighton.
Aston Villa Brighton, I'll call it either a 2-2 draw or a 2-1 Aston Villa win.
Yeah, I give this one to Aston Villa. There's going to be goals in this game, multiple goals. Very difficult. If you ask me to put a number to it, 3-2 win. Chelsea are home to Newcastle.
Oh. I would, gosh, Chelsea. I will call this a Newcastle win. Newcastle are confident. They're playing with swagger. Just because I don't see Chelsea putting up a fight. If they actually put up a fight, they can beat Newcastle, but they're not going to fight. So Newcastle will win that game. I don't know by what margin.
Yes, naturally, I would say Newcastle will win this, but now that their position in the league is settled, they can't do more than fourth, and nobody is threatening them behind. I feel they're going to be a little bit more relaxed and not going to be too defensive on this one. Oh, I'll predict a draw. A score draw, maybe 1-1 or 2-2. Everton at home to Bournemouth.
Everton at home to Bournemouth, I'll predict a 1-0 Everton win.
This one, I will go with a draw as well. Bournemouth will score. Everton will try to score. Everton are going to be very good defensively. If there will be a win in this game, yeah, Everton, but there's going to be goals. Yes, viewers, that's it for the week, the preview for the weekend, the last weekend of the EPL this season, 2023 season. As we already know, Man City has won the league. The top four is settled. Arsenal came second, followed by Manchester United, and in fourth position is Newcastle. This season is going to be the closing game of the season is going to be focused on the relegation teams. We have 3 teams, possibility of 2 dropping and 1 surviving. Everton 33 points, Leicester 31 points, Leeds 31 points. Out of these 3 will join Southampton on relegation. So to be interesting on Sunday, obviously the TV people will be showing us the relegation games. As against before, we used to focus on the top end of the table. This season, the top end is settled already. We'll be looking at the relegation teams. Continue to beg you to appeal to you to subscribe to our channel, keep watching our show, share our link, and spread the good news out there. Transit TV has come to stay. We are poised to continue to entertain you, educate you, and inform you of what is going on out there. Going forward, from next week, we will try to do 2 shows, especially focused on transfers, as we have said on this channel as well. We'll be having our fan fiesta. We'll come on the 11th of June. Look out for that. We'll be having so many fans of different clubs coming together to review the season that just ended, talk about how their teams performed, look at what they need to do better next season, and also set goals or expectations they have for their teams going to the next season. As well, don't forget I will be at LA for Arsenal Barcelona game, the season game. Arsenal Man U in New York will be there too. Look forward for content coming from those grounds. We'll be sending you interviews, videos from the stadium and from fans, and show you, what it looks like in this country. Soccer, as they call it here, football, we know, is really becoming a big thing in America. Last preseason at Florida, 75,000 capacity stadium was full to the brim when Chelsea played against Arsenal. I was there live, and if you're a watcher of our channel, you would have seen some of our content where those videos and interviews and scenes at the stadium we are shared. So we'll urge you to stay tuned in our station. The season has ended, but this channel will continue to bring you content as they progress. We also intend to, for Man U fans on the channel, we're going to be bringing you Man U game in Houston. They'll be playing against, I think, Real Madrid in Houston sometime in August. We'll be bringing content from the grounds on that match as well. So you stay tuned and keep watching Transit TV. Ubum, any last word before we go?
Oh, no, that's it. Let's stay tuned. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good to have you. Bye.